How much did you make in the month of June?
In the month of June, I hit 23K GMV. So I made about 7,000 because I had a commission bonus.
That's crazy. And so was that all from just going live?
All going live. I think my highest sales day was 1,500.
Were you thinking at that point like, hey, I'm quitting my job
Yeah.
tomorrow?
Yeah, I was like, I'm quitting.
Guys, welcome into another Trendwise or Live Academy podcast. Today we have Danny with us. Danny's only been doing TikTok Shop for about 3 months now. Absolutely crushes it on lives and does pretty well with her videos as well. So Danny, appreciate you joining us today.
All right, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So you've been doing TikTok Shop 3 months. How did you find out about it, or how did you get into it?
So I got invited to TikTok Shop last year in September, and I made one video with a backpack. I got like a coupon or whatever, and I made one video with a backpack, and it was only like $1 or $2 of commission. But I would sell a backpack like every 3 months or so, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. And then I got this random email in May, at the end of May, from an agency. And I was like, okay, I'm curious. And so they contact me and they're like, hey, we help creators do live streams for an exclusive product. And I was like, okay. And he was like selling me on this, like, oh, you're going to make thousands and thousands of dollars. You know, curiosity killed the cat. So I joined their agency, and it was just a WhatsApp group, and it was for promoting Mary Ruth's liquid morning multivitamin. And so I was doing my live streams faceless, and I wasn't making any sales. I was probably making like $20 per live stream. And then one day in the middle of my live, I just turned it over and then I started selling, and then that's how it started picking up. But that was an agency from, I don't even want to say the word, but it was a terrible agency. I don't even think they were a real agency, but that's what got me into the live streaming.
That's crazy. So were you doing like content creation on TikTok before? Because you got invited in September, which is like, I think kind of around the time that it started, no?
Yeah. So I didn't really take it seriously at all until I got that email from that agency.
hmm But were you
So,
like making content, just like, were you like a creator on
oh
TikTok?
yeah, I was a fitness creator.
Okay, okay, that makes sense. I was like, how did you get like the invite if so that okay, so you're
Yeah.
doing fitness content and so TikTok was
Uh-huh.
like, hey, we're launching TikTok Shop. You make one video, made, a couple dollars here and there, didn't really think
Yeah.
about it until you got reached out to by the agency to sell Mary Ruth, and that's kind of how you got your start with live streaming.
Right.
Um, so, okay, cool. So were you doing at the time, were you doing fitness content like full time on TikTok, or were you doing like do you work a full time job as well?
I work a full-time job as well, and I was doing content full-time.
Oh, awesome. Do you work in the fitness industry?
I don't. I am actually a techie. I work in cybersecurity for a web hosting company.
Okay. So
So,
completely different. And you've been doing it for 3 months now. We won't include obviously the September thing. That was just like a make one video type of thing, and
yeah.
forget about it. But your first full month would have been what, May? Is that right?
First full month would have been June.
Or June? I'm sorry, started end of May. So June. How much did you make in the month of June?
In the month of June, I hit 23K GMV. So I made about 7,000 because I had a commission bonus as well with Mary Ruth.
That's crazy. And so
Hmm.
was that all from just going live with Mary
That
Ruth,
was
or
all going live with Mary Ruth. I think my highest sales day was 1,500.
wow. So you're like, I'm just going to try out this live streaming thing because they sold me on it pretty hard. So like, what's the worst that can happen? Like it doesn't work, and it doesn't really matter, right? Um,
Right.
so okay, that's cool. So 7 grand your first month. Most people would be
Hmm.
absolutely like stoked. Were you thinking at that point like, hey, I'm quitting my job
Yeah.
tomorrow?
Yeah, I was like, I'm quitting. And then I'm like, no, I have insurance. I have like let's see how the next few months go.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. And then you mentioned before the call that you're doing some videos as well. Um,
Right.
how have the videos been performing for you?
It's a hit or miss. I focus
Yeah.
on sales for my videos, and that seems to really hit it off with the videos. So,
Yeah, it seems like TikTok Shop is definitely like a culture of like sales and discounts. So it's not just about like having a good product, it's also about having a good product at a good price. So it's like when stuff is cheaper on TikTok than it is on Amazon or the company's website or anywhere else you can buy it or in stores, that definitely seems to like increase, sales and buying. People go to TikTok for discounts and deals, it seems like.
Right.
So okay, cool. So the videos, mainly focusing on stuff on sale. Now, the first month that you went live and made 7 grand, like, what do you attribute your success to there? Because did you have any like experience with live streaming before? I know you're doing fitness content.
No, the only live stream experience I had was when my baby goats were born and I had to feed them every morning at 3 a.m. So I would just feed them on live stream
No way.
through the bottle, yeah. So
That's
that was the only
crazy.
live stream experience I had. But it was a trial and error because I was doing faceless live streams and I was not selling at all until I started doing face in live streams. And I feel like maybe because the tone in my voice makes it sound kind of like, I don't know if I can say the word, bitchy.
No, no, go for it. Yeah, you're good.
Okay. So like my tone without my face, it seems kind of bitchy. And once I turned it over and people started seeing my smile and stuff, that's when it was more relatable for them, I guess. And I would make it fun. Like every follow, share, or purchase, I would dance. So like I would do like a little salsa dance and that would that would keep engaging people.
That's funny because like for the most part, it seems like with supplements, faceless has done the best for most people. But
hmm
with you, it was the opposite. Like you did the whole faceless thing, you just like weren't really getting the traction that you wanted to see. So like screw it, let's turn the camera around, see what happens, and then that just kind of propelled your sales there for the. It was still Mary Ruth the whole month of June.
Yeah, I did marry Ruth until the end of August.
Okay, so you went 2 months strong on the Mary Ruth, and what made you decide to like, I'm gonna switch products now? Did sales slow down, or you're like, I found something better?
No, the agency from hell. It's like I want nothing to do with the agency. Anything that was related to the agency, whether even if the product wasn't the agency's product, like I just did not want any ties to that at all.
Okay, you're just like, I'm done with these guys. We're gonna
Yeah, and
go
then
our own way.
Be Body Wise reached out to me, and so I was doing live streams for them. And then when I joined Social Army, well, I didn't join yet. I was seeing all the Social Army videos, and that's when I started doing goalie, and goalie was really hitting it off for me as well.
Okay, so you were doing, was that during their first contest that you were doing the goalie, or was it before that?
It was before.
Okay. Did you
I
continue
I
doing it?
did I did goalie. When did they launch? For the beginning of September?
No, it was August. They did their first contest, and then they did
Okay.
the second contest was is this today's the last day of September. So second contest is ending today. And I think they launched like 2 or 3 weeks prior to that on TikTok Shop.
Okay, I started goalie a little bit after the first contest started, but I had no idea about the incentives.
Okay, cool. And then so that did that do pretty well for you or
It did. It did pretty good. I think even though GMV was low, my commission was pretty good. I think minimum, my goal was always to hit minimum $200 per day in commission for myself. So with
so?
any
Okay.
product. And I always hit either 200 or more.
So you're doing at least like 1,000 or so a day GMV with the goalie then, which is pretty good. Were you showing your face with that also, or were you doing the faceless?
I was doing both because there were times where I didn't feel like getting ready and I didn't see a difference in sales. So
So you're
I
like,
just
yeah,
kept doing it like that.
okay. So on days you're not feeling it, you're like, I'm just gonna do the faceless thing and
hmm
we'll put our hours in, make our money, and then on days where you're like, I'm ready, I'm good to go, we'll show our face and
Yeah,
do it that way. Okay.
exactly.
Very cool. So and then with the goalie, did you cash out any prizes on the first campaign?
I didn't because I had no idea about the incentives at all
Okay.
until probably the last few days of it. Goalie reached out to me and they were like, "Hey, we have these incentives," and I'm like, "Well, that would have been nice to know." But I didn't hit any of I think GMV was like 5K for the iPad then
Something
or
like that.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Okay. And then you also speak Spanish, if I'm not mistaken, right?
yes.
Okay.
So I do my live streams in bilingual. So I'll put hablo español on my billboard. And so that will get people to ask me questions in Spanish.
That's super smart because the Spanish market is extremely untapped on TikTok in terms of like affiliates and sellers really too. But if you can speak Spanish, you have
Hmm.
a huge advantage. And obviously being able to speak Spanish and English, like, I don't know, you've probably seen like some of the big produce lives for like companies like Simply Mandy's. They do it in Spanish and in
Hmm.
English. So not only are they capturing the Spanish speaking market, they're also capturing the English speaking market. So they kind of get double
Yes.
up on customers there.
Yeah, I was watching actually Jenny's live yesterday and then Itati's live the day before, and holy moly. I'm like, dang, that must have been like easy 50K day right there in commission
Oh yeah.
alone.
I think when I looked at their live, or somebody maybe posted a screenshot, they had like 15,000 products sold at the time
Hmm.
I checked. And I'm
Yeah.
sure they went for like a lot longer because those are usually like 8 hour lives. So
Hmm.
crazy.
I know. I'm like, I'm gonna do that one day. I'm gonna get there. Just
Yep,
watch.
absolutely. That's the goal, right?
Yeah.
So early on, like obviously like your first month with lives, you did pretty good, made over 7,000. Did you have any like struggles early on, or was there anything that was kind of a challenge for you?
Violations. So the agency didn't warn us at all about violations. And so luckily I got most of my violations on my backup. I have 12 points on my backup and I have 2 points on my main account. So my main account is like, that's why I also was, after I got my, for exaggerated claims or pre-recorded content violation and I appealed it and it was denied on my main, I was like, okay, I'm not going to do supplements anymore.
Yeah,
I'll only do videos. Mm-hmm.
keep that account safe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the violations are pretty brutal. They didn't give you guys like any type of guidelines or any type of like don't say these words or don't make these types of claims when they gave you the product.
The only guidelines they gave us was don't mention hair growth, even though it says on the bottle. And what else was it? Don't mention digestive health, and that's it.
Interesting.
So there was one girl who I'm friends with. She did the Spanish lives with Mary Ruth, and she got 22 points on her account.
Oof, that's
And they
brutal.
promised that they would help her appeal them and all that stuff, and they didn't do nothing. So
Oh, that sucks. Hopefully she made some good money doing it at least.
no, she didn't.
No, man. Yikes.
Yeah. But now she's killing it. She has a different account that she's using and she's killing it on lives.
Okay, well, glad to hear that. So,
Yeah.
tell us about like your biggest day on live, like commission wise. What's been your biggest day so far?
With Mary Ruth, it was a 1.9, I think, commission day. Or, yeah, 1,900, I think. I can't remember. It was high up there. So it was
Yeah,
a really high commission day. I'm not even sure what was going on that day, but I live stream, I think, for 3 hours straight because the purchases kept coming in, kept coming in, kept coming in. And then my throat couldn't handle it anymore, so I had to cut the live. I probably easily would have kept going. If I would have kept going for 5 hours, I probably would have made it a 3K commission day.
oh, for sure.
Yeah.
So we'll call it $2,000 in 3 hours. And it sucks when the day is just like, it's just one of those days where just everybody is just buying and you just
Yeah.
are watching the commissions roll in, but your throat is just like, I
I
can't,
know.
I can't do this any longer. You're like, just a little bit, just keep trying to push it.
Yeah.
But that's crazy. So you $2,000 in a day, $2,000 in 3 hours. And I'm sure at that point, you're like, I hope every day is like this.
Hmm.
And it's hard too, because when you have those days, I don't know if this happens to you at all, but when you have those days, like the following days, or like if they're not up to that level, it's like kind of disappointing. Like you kind of
I
like
know.
raise your expectations a little bit too high. And it's
Yeah.
like, oh man, I only made 500 today and I made 2000 yesterday. It's
Yeah.
kind of messes with your head a
Especially
little
when
bit.
you want to try and beat. Like every day is always a goal to beat my previous commission day. So I'm like, okay, I made $200 yesterday. Today I'm gonna make 250 or $300. And I always give myself that goal. And even if I don't make it, I'm like, I still made more than my regular job, than my 9 to 5. So
Yeah, and you're always going to make more than if you never went live in the first place, right? Like
exactly.
if like tomorrow, if you go live today and then tomorrow, you're never like I wish I wouldn't have gone live yesterday. I only made, $250 or whatever the number is. But if you don't go live tomorrow, you're going to be like, I wish I would have went live yesterday. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
could have made some money. So that's amazing though. $2,000 in 3 hours is absolutely absurd. And I'm sure that kind of just opened your eyes up to like, you can make a ton of money doing this. I don't know what your previous
Yes.
best was before that, but what's been your biggest month so far on TikTok Shop?
Um, it was the end of June, middle of July. So it was the half right there.
Okay.
But the biggest month right now, I would say alone, September.
Okay. How much have you made so far in September?
I think I'm at almost 40K GMV. Commission, I think I'm at 6.5K, 6.5K. And that's not me live streaming every day like I did in June, July.
Yeah.
Um, I've been taking 2 to 3 days off per week because of sports and the kids being sick.
Yeah. Life
So,
stuff.
yeah. So I probably live streamed a total of maybe 20 days in September, maybe 25 max.
Okay. That's still really good. And keeping in
Yeah.
mind too that you're also working a full-time job. So it's not like
Mm-hmm.
you're doing this, 40 hours a week. You're doing it what,
Yeah.
2 or 3 hours per live session?
I do 90-minute live sessions I've done this
Oh
month.
wow.
But with the suitcases, like once I see the room, like, because I can tell with when I don't have the live stream studio up on my laptop, like I can tell that I'm getting purchases and purchases because my views all keep going up and up and up and up and up throughout my live stream. When I notice them going down, that's when I know, okay, sales have slowed down. It's time to call it a day. But once the views are going up, and they continue to go up, that's when I stay for 2 to 3 hours.
Okay. So if it's going really well, you're like, I'm staying on, going to capitalize. If it's like slowing down 90-minute mark, you're like, all right, we're cutting it for the day.
Yes.
Okay. Right on. And then let me see, what else do I have here? What do you think, like strategy wise, maybe one or two things that have really helped you just from like a strategy perspective? Like, is there anything that like you've done to like evolve and like, hey, I notice if I do this or I do that, like I see better sales, that type of thing.
Being yourself, one, because I see a lot of creators that are a little robotic on their live streams. So it doesn't sound natural when they're talking about the product. And I was like this too at first because I never live streamed before, selling a product. But I think that is key. And also making it kind of fun. I mean, at least for myself, like making it fun for yourself and for the viewer because you want that engagement. Um, and you want it to be more relatable as well with the people. I think being yourself is one and being consistent with the live streams because if you go live stream for 30 minutes and you're not seeing any sales, how are you going to see sales if you keep quitting after 30 minutes? You know,
100%. Yeah, no,
but
I agree with all those points.
yeah, like when I first started, I wasn't seeing sales, but I was still consistent. Whether I made a sale or not, I made sure I stayed on for 90 minutes each time. And I did 2 90 minutes per day. And then once I started doing that, I started seeing more sales and more sales and more sales and more sales.
Yeah, and I think that's like where a lot of people kind of like, I don't want to say fail, but they kind of lose it is because they go live and they like don't see results for like 20, 30, 45 minutes an hour, whatever, and then they just end the
Mm-hmm.
live. and then they switch products or they do the same thing again the next day, and it's like, oh, 20 minutes didn't work, like try it again tomorrow. And it's like you're never going to get traction if you don't like put some time in. I think like one of the most important things is just quality hours spent on live um,
Mm-hmm.
is going to help. And like quality hours means like what you were saying, right? Like being yourself and having fun. Like everybody has a different personality, but I think when we try and like fake it and be something that we're not, like people really pick up on that. And it's just like, all right,
Mm-hmm.
this is truly like people already know that they're being sold, but they don't want to feel like they're being sold, right? It's like
Right.
they don't want to
Exactly.
feel like they're watching some cheesy infomercial. And then just like being yourself and having fun, right? Like what makes live commerce and live selling like such a big thing and why it's growing so quickly and why it's so popular in China is because there is some entertainment value as well, right? People don't want
Mm-hmm.
to just be told to buy a product. They want to learn about it. They want to be entertained a little bit and that type of thing. So I think like what those 3 points that you made kind of perfectly encompass that, like quality time on live, and then just bringing the value to people that are watching 100%.
Yeah, exactly.
What advice would you give to somebody that's like brand new to TikTok Shop lives, or like, hey, I've been, doing TikTok Shop, whatever, I make videos, and I really want to get into live streaming. Like, what advice would you give them? Like, if you could do anything differently when you started out, what would you say?
I would say, um, be consistent and also appearance, whether it's faceless or not, because it will affect your sales. If you have crusty nails and you're showing a product, who's gonna buy from that? You know? And don't be forceful with the sales, like buy this now, buy this now. Um, but I think, yeah, I don't know. I have a brain fart with that one.
It's all
Like
good.
there's really not much like you can say, but be yourself and be consistent. And also the appearance, because like in the previous agency that I was at, there was a girl who never made any sales, and I'm like, I didn't know how to tell her nicely. She would have like dirt and gunk under her nails and showing the product, and then when she would do face in, she'd be in her pajamas and like her hair messy, and she would have like two people in her room, and like people don't, in my opinion, I'm not going to buy from someone that looks like that or is showing a product with crusty, dirty nails underneath, you know?
Yeah. No, I agree, because it's like you want to trust the person that's
Mm-hmm.
talking to you about the product, and if they don't look or they're not, presenting themselves the way that, would want to present yourself, or the way that kind of like you would want to, value yourself. Like if this person
Mm-hmm.
doesn't take care of themselves and they're telling me about a supplement, like why should I listen to their advice? Like
Exactly.
it's just a basic thing. But like with the whole visual thing too, I think you're right. Like a lot of people kind of get that wrong. Like their lighting's not good. They've got just like trash, maybe not trash, but dirt, whatever, or just random stuff all over the place. It's like you
Mm-hmm.
like even if you're just like a brand new affiliate and you're just starting out, you want it to be as clean and professional looking as possible. You don't have to try
Yes.
and make it super fancy, but just make it look clean and professional. Make it look like something that a brand would do. And
Mm-hmm.
people are going to kind of pay more attention. It's going to help your sales. It's going to help your views. It's going to help your conversions, because people are going to, it's going to have a higher perceived value, as opposed to something where it's like there's dirt on the desk, the person's got dirt under their fingernails, or they're in their
Mm-hmm.
pajamas, and people
Yeah,
just are like, this seems like somebody just trying to make a buck. That's lazy, honestly.
exactly. Because in the end, it is your job, you know, and it is going to bring you income. So, but yeah, I would say if you really want to take it seriously, be consistent, be yourself, and your appearance really does matter.
Yeah, and I think like what you're saying, like treat it like a job and it will pay you like
Mm-hmm.
one, or better. But I think the people that don't treat it like a job, not treating it like a job doesn't mean you have to do it for 40 hours a week, right? Like you're not doing it 40 hours a week, but bring the level of professionalism that you would to a job. You wouldn't show up to a job with your pajamas on, just
Exactly.
that type of thing, right? Like you're going to come looking professional, like you would to
Yeah.
a job interview. So I think those are all excellent points. And I think like one of the things that makes you like really good at what you do is you're so good about being genuine and being yourself and letting your personality shine through. And so I don't think I've ever heard you say on a live like this, make sure to buy this right now, the sales ending today, blah blah blah. Like it seems like you just really focus on being yourself and building value in the product, and I think that's why you do so well. You also sell, with the exception of the Mary Ruth and the Gold, like the product that you're doing now is like kind of a higher ticket, at least in TikTok world. It's kind of a higher ticket item. So I think you do a good job of building trust and value because you're not just a desperate salesperson trying to jam a product down someone's throat.
Yeah. And like I won't go live with a product I don't like. And I won't make videos if I don't like the product. Like I'll send a message to the seller and say, "Hey, I can make the product and give an honest review, or you can mark the sample as completed." And I did have an incident where the seller says, "Oh, you can just not mention the massage part on the recliner." And I was like, "Okay, so you want me to make the video? I'll make the video." So I made the video and it wasn't like a bashing video, but I did mention in my video that it's marketed as a massaging recliner, but it does not massage. It just vibrates.
So I'm sure it made a ton of sales, that video.
No, no, not at all.
Yeah.
Video.
Yeah. Well,
But
that's cool though. I think that kind of sets you apart in some ways than like some other affiliates out there, because a lot of people will literally say or do anything to make a sale. And just by talking to you, it's pretty evident that that's not the case. Like if you don't like a product, you don't believe in it, like you're going to be honest about it. You're not going to just lie to people just to appease the company and make sales for yourself and make commissions, which is
yeah.
definitely very respectable. So, um, biggest lesson that you've learned being a TikTok shop affiliate going through 3 months now? Obviously, like everyone's journey is different, everyone's path is different. It seems like you've had pretty consistent success, which is obviously pretty cool. But what's the biggest lesson that you've learned so far?
The biggest lesson is for me is to find a community or some kind of support. Because doing it alone is really hard because that will get you into violations, and I see a lot of people give up easily without a community or a support group. And with the previous agency that I had, oh, research agencies as well, because there's a lot of agencies that try and recruit you and will only set you up for failure. And luckily, that agency was a blessing in disguise because I met a group of women and we all have like our own little WhatsApp group where we support each other. And I think without that support group, I probably wouldn't be where I am today because it's hard doing it alone. And also joining a good agency is key as well because I think the more income that you bring in, you definitely want to have an agency on your side, especially if anything were to go wrong. They can help you with if I were to get any more violations in the future. And also like recommending products, and it's just good to have an agency overall. So,
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a lot of agencies out there, or some of them are, quote unquote agencies. They're not actually official TikTok shop partners.
hmm
And unfortunately, it's like a numbers game for a lot of them. So I agree 100%, especially as you start making decent money, you want to have an agency in your corner. Um, and it's not so much that just having an agency by itself is going to make you more money. It potentially can by recommending good products and getting you higher commissions and those types of things. But it's like a really good safety net to have in case something happens with your TikTok account, violations
hmm
and stuff like that, because they can often get a second look at that and help out there. And then the community thing is huge, right? I think literally every single person I've had on the podcast has said the same thing. It's like this is something that's not like it's really difficult to do on your own because there's so many things. This is brand new, so there's so many things that we kind of encounter on a day-to-day basis, whether it's violations, weird stuff with the app, weird stuff with commissions, whatever it is. And then just having that support to kind of help, somebody else has probably dealt with it if you're experiencing something,
Yeah.
and things like that. And by the way, you guys, if you guys do want to join Social Army or Live Academy, There will be a link down in the description below. Danny is obviously a part of both. And then was there a third thing that you said about, it was the agency, the community, and I feel like you said one other thing. Or am I just imagining?
Support group? I guess that's a
Yeah,
community.
community. Yeah, for sure, for sure. But those are super important things. Like I remember early on for myself, I was like, I was on an island. Like I just heard about TikTok Shop on YouTube. I started making videos. Like it was not really going that great. And then somebody on TikTok that was making videos also just reached out to me, and we like kind of became TikTok buddies. And he is
Yeah.
actually the one that got me into live streaming because I was just making videos, and he's like, I'm gonna try going live with this product. And he made like $50 in an hour, and I was like, maybe I should try that. And that's what got me into live. I don't know if I ever would have gone live if it wasn't for that. So I think we also, like with the community aspect, we also get like ideas for things too that we wouldn't have just come up with on our own. So that's super cool.
Exactly. And like with hooks and stuff and what to say, what not to say on lives. I think it's super important to have a community.
Yeah, absolutely. There's just so much to TikTok Shop, and it's cool because this is kind of the beginning of it. Even though it doesn't feel like it, it's been around for about a year now, but it's
Yeah.
still like so small in comparison to what it's going to be in the future, and even more so like with live commerce. Um, I think live commerce is going to be absolutely massive in the US. TikTok Shop is just the beginning, but I think it's also
Hmm.
going to become huge on other platforms too, like Instagram, Facebook, things like that are going to adopt the same type of live commerce features because of the success that TikTok is having with it. So
Yeah.
that's super exciting to see. I don't know, like I know you kind of, we talked before the call, and your thing is like you want to get in, your focus is on lives, and so you want to get into doing
Hmm.
those bigger produced lives. And so when those other platforms open up, what I'm curious to see is like, can we go live, for one studio with products and be streaming on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and all the platforms at the same time, because it'll really start getting crazy then.
Yeah. That's like triple income right there.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. So, anyways, Danny, I really appreciate you coming on the call today. I think this was awesome. I think people are going to get a lot of value from it, and I really am truly excited to kind of see like where where your path leads with the live streaming thing, because I think you have a lot of talent. You're really good on camera. You're comfortable, and you have a lot of integrity, which I think is going to serve you really well. So, thank you again
Thank you.
for coming on.